Are you ready to hear the scariest story in the world?
Yes.
Welcome to ThorinMutt Podcast, your one-stop shop for
Everything podcasts.
just podcasts would have been fine, but it's spooky time. That's right. It's Halloween. When in reality, it's August 23rd, but it's Halloween right now when you're watching this. And how does it feel? Are you a kid? Are you going to go get some candy tonight? Like a little kid, like a little idiot, get some candy? You gonna go trick-or-treating?
I hope you get hit by a car.
Oh, that's a little too far there. Whoa. So, anyway, yeah. It's Halloween. You're going to go trick-or-treating like a little loser. Maybe go to a school carnival. We had one back in the day. School fall carnival around Halloween time.
I dressed up as Luigi.
And I dressed up as Mario. But we never saw each other at that event. And then on Monday, this was in 4th grade, we were going to go trick-or-treating at some old folks' home. That's right. We were going to have old people throw candy at us.
Mm-hmm. Because they don't get any other contact from young people.
Right. And so in the morning, I wake up and I'm like, yes, I'm going to be Mario and Gabe's Luigi. And I'm not going to let him down. And I'm sick.
Mm-hmm.
Like puking my guts out. So I can't stand up. And it's like, I'm okay to go to school, Mom. So and she's like, no, you have to stay home.
It's just Luigi.
Yep, and I was actually out of school for like a week after that. Yeah. So it was a problem. It was a bad thing.
You almost died.
Mm-hmm. And I don't even know what happened down there because I didn't go.
You died.
Yeah, no, I could have. What even happened? I wasn't there. I don't even know what happened.
I don't remember.
You don't even remember?
I have the memory of a goldfish. So
I just remember somebody telling me they got candy thrown at them. Like the old people threw it at them.
I don't know.
Like,
Look at you.
You know.
Leave me alone with scratch off and take the candy.
You know, something like that.
Pretty much.
Yeah, but it's spooky time now. You get to do the same thing today. If you're a 4th grader and you're watching this, first of all, what are you doing here?
Yeah, go home.
Secondly, have some fun with the old people.
Yeah.
Worded that weirdly. Don't do that, but have a good time trick-or-treating.
Go scare some old people.
Yeah. And then make them go, you know, have them like have a heart attack or something.
Heart attack on a hook?
Nee.
All right.
Yep.
So you have a story.
I have a story to tell. Before we get into the spooky story that we're going to make up on the spot, I had a dream about a year ago, and it stuck with me because it was so spooky. And I mentioned it on a Backrooms podcast here a while back, but, you know, I said I was going to save it for this, so I'm going to tell it here. So I was at work at the old grocery store where I used to work. And me and like some random girl who I've never seen before in my life. Apparently she was my coworker now. Mm-hmm. So we were hanging out. I'm like, hey, it's a good day. We're working. And all of a sudden, like down an aisle, or like the lights come off, the lights cut out and it's dark in there. And all of a sudden down one of the aisles is that creature from Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. The one from the story called The Dream.
Yes.
It's like the... Mm-hmm. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
It was in the movie.
I remember.
I've seen that scene in the movie. It's kind of spooky. Where it's down the hall in the red hall.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I can't even replicate that. It's like,
yeah, I know what you mean.
You know what I'm talking about. And it's down there and it's getting closer and I'm like, well, that thing is going to kill me.
Want to know what can't be replicated?
Huh?
The quality of the guiding light. Available on Amazon. Purchase it now.
So anyway, it's coming towards us, and I'm like, this thing is going to kill me. It is going to kill me if I don't run. And so we're like, go. And so we're running, and the thing's getting closer.
Mm-hmm.
And this coworker of mine, she trips, and she gets destroyed by this thing. She's like, go, get out of here. And I'm like, I'm not leaving you. You know, like one of those epic like movie things. Like, I'm not leaving you. I'm not going to leave you. And she's like, you got to get out of here right now. So then I book it, and I'm like, that thing is after me. I have to get out of the store, and it's, you know, running after me. Boom, 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 it's on its way. I book it out of the house, or out of the store, get in my car, and I'm driving away. And in my head, in the dream, I was like, that thing knows where I live. So it's going to follow me to my house either way.
Okay.
And it sure did. Because when I got home, I went downstairs and I went in my little closet,
Yeah.
where my computer is, where
Yes.
I do the back rooms from.
Yes.
And I'm hiding under my computer desk. And I hear it come in the house, and it's like boom, coming down the stairs, coming for me. And all of a sudden, I hear my ex-coworker Josh yelling, and I come out there and see him like massacring this thing, like stabbing it multiple times,
Okay.
like decapitating it, destroying it. And then I'm like, Josh, what are you doing here? And he was like, that thing's been after me too for years. For years, and I needed to end it right now. I was like, thank you so much, Josh. You saved my life. And then I woke up, and it was a happy moment, but at the time it was terrifying. Like when I was driving home, I was like, this thing knows where I live. And that was so creepy because it was like, I can't escape.
Mm-hmm.
Like no matter how far I go, I'm not going to escape this thing. So like I was hopeless, like what am I
Yes.
supposed to do? If it knows where I'm going, it's going to follow my moves. What am I supposed to do? And that thing is creepy enough as it is.
Yes.
My older brother, shout out to Christian here, who's getting married in a month at the time. Shout out to him. He was actually had nightmares about that thing too. That picture from that book. True story. But what's not true is the story me and Gabe are going to make up on the spot. Now, back in the day, we referenced this in podcast number 1, was GMM did this once. Back in the day. Back in their heyday when they were actually good.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to make our own spin-off of it. Where we are going to make up a scary story on the spot. And it's going to be the scariest thing you've ever heard in your life. It's going to be scarier than that dream I talked about. So, be prepared because it's time for the scariest story ever told.
Jonathan woke up with a start.
He looked to his right, and he saw the bloody remains of a goat's neck. The end.
It startled him because this wasn't the first time it happened.
No, it was not. Johnny got out of bed, and like he did every day, disposed of the goat's neck by throwing it down the garbage disposal in the sink.
I think of something.
Yes, he threw it down the sink.
He had regretted the night he went out with his friends to the Goatman Bridge.
Yes, the Goatman Bridge, where the evil Goatman lives.
Unfortunately for the Goatman, that was his final night.
The Goatman or
The Goatman.
the Goatman's final night?
As for Jonathan, he made it out alive, running over the Goatman with his car, in fear after his entire friend group was destroyed.
And not just destroyed, for the Goatman dealt in absolutes, which means they were dismembered and literally chopped up in a blender, which the Goatman would drink for his morning smoothie.
Yes.
And after that, as Johnny was driving away from the remains of the Goatman, all of a sudden, the Goatman sprung back alive and started running towards his car.
But the Goatman couldn't catch up to his 2005 Honda Civic because he took care of it a lot.
He changed the oil once a year, like a good person should, and he never let the needle get past half.
Yes.
And so the Goatman ran off into the woods, where it died. For real this time.
Maybe.
But as Johnny was driving down the highway, he came across a gas station because he saw that his needle was almost on half, and he said, I need to fill up gas right now. So he pulled into the gas station.
As he exited his vehicle, he decided to go inside to buy a Snickers bar. What he saw inside terrified him. Within the middle...
And all of a sudden the wind started to pick up.
Within the middle of the gas station, all the patrons and all the workers were standing in a circle around a bloody pentagram.
And in the middle of the pentagram was the severed neck of a goat, which the goat man had laid there earlier in the day before he died. And Johnny walked in on the strange ritual that was going on in honor of the goat man, because everybody knew that the goat man was dead.
Yes.
And all of a sudden, one of them saw Johnny.
With a violent creak of the neck, the gas station attendee pointed at him and said, "Murderer."
And Johnny said, "How do you know it was me? I must stand trial. Can I get a phone call or anything like that before? Can I at least have an alibi of some sort? Can I prove that I was the one who killed it? You don't know that."
"Your only alibi will be told to Jesus," the same gas station attendee said, pulling out a knife, "'cause I will be killing you."
Yep. And then all of a sudden, Jesus, the other attendant at the gas station, came out and said, "You called for me? Because I heard we were going to kill," and that's what Jesus did. He would kill, and he was Johnny's alibi. And Johnny backed away slowly and ran out of the gas station, where he was soon hit by a truck. Driven by the Goat Man, getting his revenge.
But luckily Johnny took Taekwondo in high school, and he jumped over the truck and held on to the bars.
Yes.
Where Goatman believed he had killed him, but he actually hitched a ride under the truck all the way home, where we are now today, where he disposed the head in the sink.
Yes. And when he disposed of the head the second time, all of a sudden, there was a lightning strike outside. Big lightning strike. About 12,000 decibels. And little Johnny cowered in fear in his kitchen, underneath the sink. And out of the lightning storm came another goat man.
"Yes, I am a second goat man," said the second goat man, "and I am here to take revenge because you broke,
The prophecy.
No, you broke the engine of my goat brother's truck, and he crashed and blew up in a fiery explosion."
Yes. And Johnny said, "Well, what? How do you know it was me?" Once again, Johnny had a little bit of a complex to him, a little flaw, you could say, where he would always get very defensive when he was confronted by anything, even if he was the culprit. And so Johnny said, "How do you know it was me?" Once again, "I didn't do anything about that. I just jumped on there. I used my Taekwondo skills." "What, is that illegal now?"
"You just admitted to it," said the second goat man, and with a powerful lunge, the second goat man mauled Johnny.
And yet, because Johnny took Taekwondo, he ducked out of the way again, once again avoiding death. And this time he ran towards the second goat man and said, "I'm putting a stop to this." And he ripped off the head of the goat man, the second goat man, which turned out to be a mask.
Under the mask, to Johnny's surprise, was a third goat man.
Oh, yes, a third goat man, which looked looked a lot like the first two, only this one had purple horns instead of gray. And this third goat man said, "Are you trying to pull a Scooby-Doo on me? 'Cause it's not going to work."
From the skin of the second goat man, the third goat man pulled out his goat sword and lunged again at Johnny in his kitchen.
Yes, and Johnny grabbed a ladle, a silicone ladle made for soups, and he dueled the third goat man until the goat man tired himself out and said, "I need to go take a nap. Stay here until I get back." And he left.
Johnny followed the third goat man. It turned out he had walked into his bedroom and went to nap. Johnny walked up to the third goat man and noticed on his neck a zipper.
And he said, "Is this his shirt? Or is it a costume of some sort?" And so he reached out to grab the zipper, and he pulled it down, and he beheld
Old Man Jenkins. The old man who owned the Goat Bridge and hated when rowdy teenagers ran amok around it.
And Old Man Jenkins grabbed Johnny by the ears, and he pulled him forward and said,
What do you think you're doing? That was my goat disguise.
"And this is my house," Johnny said, and with a strong right hook, punched Old Man Jenkins square in the jaw.
And since Old Man Jenkins was an old man, his bones were kind of brittle, so it broke his jaw. And Old Man Jenkins cowered in fear in the corner, just sobbing uncontrollably, while Johnny stood over and laughed.
After Johnny laughed, he brought the ladle back above his head and said to Old Man Jenkins, "Any last requests?"
And Old Man Jenkins said,
Look behind you.
and Johnny looked behind him and he saw all 4 goat people standing right behind him, holding the goat swords, which they used to cut a cake, which was right next to Johnny because it turned out it was Johnny's birthday.
But it was actually a trick. Johnny realized it wasn't actually his birthday, and he looked back to Old Man Jenkins. And Old Man Jenkins was a 5th goat man, and they all dogpiled him and ate him.
And the last remnants of Johnny were his ginormous, abnormally sized ears, which the goat people didn't want to eat because they said there's too much cartilage and fat on those ears. That's gross. I don't want to eat that.
And then Johnny woke up in Radiator Springs, in his business of the Tow Mater Shack. He had a nightmare. Tow Mater had a nightmare.
And that was the scariest story in the world.
And that was the scariest story ever told.
I don't think I'm going to sleep tonight after that.
Me neither.
That was really spooky.
Me neither.
Oh, look, the camera's going to run out of battery.
All right.
Right at the end. So we have to wrap this up right now. Have a good Halloween. Listen to that story every year on Halloween because it's so spooky. And we'll see you guys
And
next
listen to
week.
your parents.
Yep, and we'll see you guys next week. Watch out for the Goat Man. This is Stampy Longlegs with the Minecraft Dedicated Wham outro. So goodbye. And you guys are wrong because William is a horrible musician, and William could not match up to James Paul McCartney. They looked nothing alike. And William